And we're back. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Lights podcast. I'm Lotus Zintas, along with a guy who has been known to reach in fantasy football drafts a few rounds too early. That is one Modest Kalnish.
It's me.
What do you have to say about that?
I'm feeling good. I haven't felt this anxiety free about the start of a season in a long time.
Anxiety free, eh?
Yeah, we're good.
I'm going to share my background with you so you know what we're talking about.
Chilling over here.
Draft boards, baby.
Look at them all.
So we're back. We're back after a long time, a long hiatus. Where before we didn't really have a multimedia platform like this one. We were talking to each other over our phones and voice recording it. And your brother Ansis was mixing it.
It was taking away from his quality of life.
I know. I feel like we've helped him out here now that he doesn't have to do that and take out all the ums and ahs that we always have in the audio recordings.
Like AI for that one now, right?
Okay, so we had our draft recently. It was for once not on Labor Day weekend. We pushed it a week early so that everyone could make it, as many people as possible. We held it in Montreal. We had a great draft. We have Giannis to thank for hosting just a magnificent event. We had Nigel show up for the first time since pre-pandemic, and we just had a really good time.
It was a wild one.
How did it feel to not have the same amount of responsibility?
Equally panicked, but letting other people decide timelines was the key.
Yeah.
My timelines don't work.
You've also been doing it for so many years that it's got to be a little bit of a load off that you don't have to. It's so much work is actually involved.
There's a ton. But
there's
fun.
So much.
Look forward to it. But yeah, very, very grateful that I didn't have to do. I was pretty hands off there. So a lot of fun though. Got to do some barbecuing, and really enjoyed the day. It was great.
We didn't have any classic. Well, I shouldn't say that. We didn't have any classic Donnie draft moments, like we're used to, like I'm used to.
I sat next to Donnie the whole draft, so I got a lot of them.
But I mean, combine, I should say.
Oh yeah. It went pretty good.
Did anyone lose the combine?
I thought that Bob was going to lose it for Eric, but he kind of was a little bit of a ringer there.
He did all right. Yeah. You, and Bob, we were bottom three, so we didn't really have the easiest avenue for our ideal draft choice. Or draft position.
It depends on where you like to draft from.
Yeah, that's true. But I remember talking to Donnie, and he said, I don't even plan to pick first anymore because I'll never win the combine. That being said, we did do the Wonderlic test, which was a great little feature that we didn't have before.
That took me down a couple pegs. That definitely took my confidence down a little bit.
It was a roller coaster ride. I thought. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it was I definitely felt like an idiot.
You know who the smartest people were that answered that exam was that the people who just filled it in as fast as possible.
Yeah.
It wasn't really about how smart are you. It's the meta. It's how smart are you about this exam. And you just fill in multiple choice. You fill it in. You finish 60, and you're bound to get, I don't know.
Brian, Nigel, and Donnie, the top three Wonderlickers.
I know.
In speed.
I remember it took me back. It was like watching everybody as if we were all in the same grade, like in grade 4 writing a test. You could see everyone's kind of pre-teen, not hate of school, but how they would have been. How they deal with tests and exams and sitting there with pencils. Some were a bit more fidgety. Some were just in their element. I thought it was cool.
It was great.
Okay, so look, a part of this that I wanted to drum this up today, and that's why it's this is a really low budget setup in terms of we wanted to do more for this feed. and like fingers crossed that it'll record and push. But like I really just wanted to talk about fantasy.
Yeah. Have you been dreaming about it?
I just I just like the how like research equals success. Like not always, but like if you're on the waiver wire and like you kind of like plan ahead and you know who the backups are and then it works out for you.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's like a dopamine hit where you're like, yeah, I'm smart. I planned for that.
Um, did you've won it. What year did you win?
13 and 17.
Do you are you what was that the ultimate hit when you did finally win? Like all of your research and all of your strategy and all the luck finally paid off and there's like, here, I did it. It worked. I'm not insane.
It's a great question because I don't remember. It's like so far back. But I remember who I drafted, and it was literally probably two players that everyone was like down on, and then they just exceeded their expectations. I don't think I even did well on the wire. It just kind of worked out. So maybe what I'm trying to say is it doesn't take all of that to win.
I mean, it's a lot. You have to still be paying attention.
You do. You do. Especially if injuries play a huge part.
They're gigantic.
Which kind of brings it into like why I want to talk about fantasy today because there are so many injuries.
There are a lot.
Were you hit directly by any of them?
Oh my God. So there were Mike Williams, first game, like first series, I don't even know when it was, but he was questionable the whole game. So that guy can't figure it out. I had a couple IDPs go out and a tight end go out. But luckily they went out after scoring touchdowns. So I sort of rescued week 1. Week 2 is going to be a bit of a lot of people got a pass concussion protocol.
Well, so indirectly, Aaron Rodgers' injury kind of hurts you.
Yeah, that was one of my big plays was trying to get Garrett Wilson to be the wide receiver 1.
I think he had the ceiling for it.
I definitely don't think he does anymore. So even he was going to put up like 2 points and then he caught that touchdown like super late. Did you see that touchdown, the Zach Wilson?
I wasn't watching. As soon as I saw that he went out, I stopped.
The touchdown was ridiculous. It was insane because it was the worst throw I've ever seen in my life. And poor Garrett Wilson had like reached around the defender to like try and catch it and bobble it. It was just, he ended up catching it, but it was just like, if that's how the touchdowns are going to come in for that guy all season, I'm going to be a bit worried about wide receiver 1 numbers out of him.
Yeah. Fun fact, and because Brian isn't part of our like our group chat, who drafted in lieu of Marty, but he went to that Jets game.
Oh yeah, him and Alex.
He traveled there, yeah, on the. Well, yeah, he went to their place Sunday night, and then he traveled all day in New York, like they drove.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So he told me a little bit about that story, just about like how they were tailgating a little bit in the rain, but. The one thing I was curious about was could you hear the energy fall out of the stadium? You know, fourth play, the whole like that hype train, the whole Aaron Rodgers hype train was just gone.
And yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, they kept drinking and they weren't fans, right? So it hits them less. But in the stadium, right. you could hear the.
Did they miss it? Like, were they in the tailgate spot?
Like when it happened? No. Well, I can't. I'm pretty sure they were in the stadium, but I actually don't know for sure.
Got it. Cool.
But
one of my IDPs is on IR now. It's happened.
I actually know who that is. It's Nakobe Dean.
Nakobe.
Yeah, I tried to add him, and I didn't think someone would have like drafted him or picked him up.
Started him last week, man.
Okay, so this brings me to let's bring up the standings where we're at for after week 1, I should say.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure that you can see the standings as well.
I see that.
Okay. It's a little off center, but again, this is our first run, so all you suckers can deal with it. What's the first thing that stands out to you? It's week 1. It's hard to have. Well, no, we can overreact. We can always overreact.
Well, I'm going to go off on a limb here, and just building on that, the draft results. I got an A, by the way.
Okay.
Laura Wagner, Shiva Bowl Shuffles draft, F grade and 12th place projection, a comedy of errors. This thing was a disaster. Yahoo picked it apart. Picked her to finish 2-11, 2-12.
I'm gonna share for you and everybody else the our draft, the most recent one that happened. Give me 2 seconds on that one.
Poor Yahoo can't figure it out. Their algorithm has probably like got gears and nuts and bolts falling out of it. Anyway, she's got one of her 2 wins for the season. She smoked Marty.
She smoked Marty last week. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely pasted him. 175 to 109. That's pretty huge. I don't think that's the biggest margin of victory we've had, but that's pretty absurd.
Yeah, you know what? It'd probably be more helpful if we brought up actual results, huh, from week 1 or something. So let me do that.
You need to look at that.
Are you seeing it?
I'm seeing the draft completed. Look at that.
Hey, we got some work to do here.
Draft completed. By the way, I was worried that Quickie Draft would make it so that people would do less shots during the actual picks for picking people who are not on the board yet.
Yeah.
That was proven false. My hypothesis was proven incorrect.
Yeah.
I think we took more shots than ever this year.
You know what? We did, and I was shocked by the shots. I think, like, not to say that you went to bed early, but you had a good time.
Regular time for me.
And big hats off. We've already said this to him in person, but Vili, shout outs to you on this pod for being like the administrator of penalty shots. Usually everyone kind of slips through the cracks. But you held everyone to it, although as a consequence, you also got the drunkest I think I've ever seen you.
Accountability buddy. That's what we need.
Huge.
We need some actual action.
However, it might have impacted his overall play because as we see at the bottom of these standings, he's 11th.
Yeah. I think that there's some Cincinnati involved in there. Cincinnati started going slow, right?
Man, they stunk. They really stunk it up.
Stunk a lot of joint.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Week 1, this was one to forget.
100%.
Okay, so let's go through the results a little bit. So you faced off against Umi. Donnie boy. You got him by 13 points.
Lapped him.
What do you remember from that performance?
Chris Olave. Just Chris Olave and Chris Olave and Chris
so
Olave.
Good. I hated the fact that you kept him, although I don't blame you at all. But he's so good.
I was an idiot, and I started Kadarius Toney. So that was a sour note. That was from Thursday night on. Matt Mahomes didn't really do much for me either. So I thought that I was going to be in trouble, but then Olave got to work 1 p.m. on Sunday and just started fucking catching everything. It was beautiful. IDPs really pulled up their socks. Brian Burns, Quay Walker. It was pretty good. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And Antonio Gibson, huge letdown. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a good foundation.
Speaking of Donnie, he was the first person of the season to write me that, in quote, I hate fantasy football.
Was that his Lamar Jackson? Or I don't know how you win by 25 points and then get 3 fantasy football points.
So he wrote me. He was the first one, and then Unsis was the second one in the wider group chat. Did you have anyone else message you that they hate fantasy football?
No. But I was definitely following Unsis's points during that Dallas game. 40-0, and Dak got 5 points.
He literally needed one completion in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Because Darren Waller, because like the Giants just couldn't do anything. So I was expecting it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna have the L, and
100%.
and that's why Ansys hates it because he should have won, hands down.
I think so. And then they sat Dak in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, well they were up by a tennis score, 40-love.
They pulled him out. Yeah, that one was tight too. And then who else came close? Melvin and Villas came close.
Melvin and Villas came really close. Yeah. Wow,
He set it up.
175 though. I keep seeing that number and that's hard to get to.
That was big time.
And a lot of that is kind of like IDPs, not IDPs. I'm gonna bring that up.
Well, she had Tyreek and Ayuk.
Tyreek, Ayuk,
Philly D,
Addison.
Every time she just kept fucking scoring. It was absurd.
Buckner, defensive tackle. I was gonna pick him up,
and that was without Hurts doing anything, or Mixon or Henry. Like those should be the top.
Yeah, those big dudes.
No
Mike Evans with he just gets touchdowns.
I can't believe that, man.
He's a good player, right?
He looks like kind of like he's slow and just keeps catching them.
What do you make of and I'm gonna bring up transactions, but what did you think of the first waiver wire bonanza?
It was close to becoming back to the original $100 because I forgot to change
it. It did, yeah. So did you realize late to change it back to a billionaire budget?
I thought I had done it in the initial setup a while ago, but apparently I didn't click through. And then, like 5 hours before it happened, Giannis messaged me. He's like, "Are you going to change this or not?" So anyway, I changed it on the fly. So we're all billionaires.
So there was also just some people that clearly didn't see it, and you can see in the screen below that some people thought that they bet a lot.
I was worried about that.
And it actually worked out for them because nobody outbid them because somehow no one else put a waiver claim on Justice Hill, which is a crime. Or Rashid Shaheed, which the day after I regretted not putting anything, but here we are.
All of signs point to that guy being amazing.
I think he's just an athlete. I think he's really good. And I think talent wins out.
I think so too. And I watched it, and he popped every time he had the ball. But I don't know. I feel like and then I have Kamara too. I felt like it would be way too many New Orleans Saints. I don't want to be tied to Derek Carr like that.
I was gonna say, and I was just gonna bring him up, so you already did. But yeah, is there enough volume from Derek Carr to like feed 3 receivers? Because Mike Thomas, he's still Mike Thomas until he proves otherwise.
He's the guy. He's still there.
But he had like 6 to 8 targets.
I think that their tight end didn't absorb a lot of targets this time.
Juwan?
Juwan or Hill? Taysom?
Juwan Johnson. Oh, Taysom Hill. Got
it. That game surprisingly, I don't know, 16-17. That's a crazy low score.
Yeah.
Up there.
What was I going to say to that? Yeah. But anyway, a lot of big names already went off the board. Puka Nacua. Is he, you think, now best name in football?
Oh, him and was it Tutu Atwell? Both of them.
And they're on the same team.
I know. When they're both on together, imagine like the color guy trying to get their names right.
When I first saw a Puka Nacua banner come up, like that showed his name, how it was written out, I was like, this isn't a serious player. I judged him based on his name rhyming. And he turned out to be the number 1 ad of the week, I'd say.
Puka.
Yeah. 15 targets.
How long? Okay, so questions about that one. How long is Matt Stafford going to have his wheels on?
Like, how is he going to be able to replicate last week, you mean?
2 years ago. Like, how long is it going to be until they completely fall apart? That was my worry.
They looked surprisingly really, really good. Or, who did they play? It was Seattle, right?
Seattle.
Or is Seattle bad? We never know week 1. It's one of the two.
Man. Again, another thing, the divisional games are always like tight. Weird, wacky, tight. There's all kinds of weird history between the coaches, and they know each other's tendencies and shit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
And
that's
even
why
even Cam Akers was a nobody.
I know. What happened? Who picked his backup? Unsis got his backup. Unsis got the handcuff.
Yeah, he got. Isn't there another
Needed,
one? I know there's Williams, but I thought there was another guy.
needed him. There's Josh Kelly for you, but that's Chargers.
That's Chargers. Who,
Right.
okay, like Homer bias has to come in a little bit, but he was by far the best running back available.
Yeah.
You can make the
Kelly?
case, right?
Kelly and the other dude there.
Who?
Williams.
Kyron Williams?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've been listening to other pods. So, like, I think it was Fantasy Footballers, number one, driving home Kenneth Gainwell as, like, the number one ad. I think
No.
Danny Kelly said the same thing.
Stop that.
What?
Stop that.
What kind of advice is that? Because who else is in that backfield?
I mean, he's
between
the
like
number one. He is the number one there, right?
who?
Gainwell.
Yeah, but it's also they picked up DeAndre Swift in the offseason.
Right. And Penny.
And Rashad Penny in the offseason, I thought.
Yeah, and those guys I would lean to as being more established or better chances of success than Gainwell, except for Gainwell knows the system, I guess.
Yeah. And I forgot Boston Scott.
Oh yeah.
Not to say that he's better, but there's so many there that why would you drop all your fab on Gainwell? That was my point.
Also layering in the fact that Hurts is also a running.
That too.
He's taking all those touches. Yeah. So I don't know.
So do you ever? That's actually a fun question. Like, do you ever have that where you hear a piece of advice and you listen or read something and you're like, I can't believe that's the hill they're dying on.
Yeah, sometimes.
That would be one of them.
Sometimes, but I've also had those hills that I've died on.
Yeah.
Myself, right?
I mean, we all have. Like, I died on OJ Howard Hill many years ago.
How's Justin Fields going for you?
Terrible. I asked Carlos a really insensitive question a few days ago.
What was it?
Should I start Jordan Love over Justin Fields? And I'm not inside his brain. I'm not a Bears fan, so I'm trying to picture it. But like, imagine getting your teeth kicked in by a Green Bay team that's starting a rookie. Was it at Soldier Field too?
It was. Yeah.
So, I should have walked the line more carefully, I think. But Jordan Love looks good.
I'm holding on with a bated breath on that one. But yeah, he looked to be okay. He wasn't complaining about anything.
He was like solid. He was like almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. And kind of just like managing it. There's enough like Aaron Jones in there and Dylan.
Yeah.
They've got guys that can kind of just sort of walk down the field kind of slowly.
It looks like Dylan's going to get the start this week too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got Christian Watson's coming back. I know that there are all these unproven guys from last year, but they were still putting up points. And Dobbs is back, killing it.
Don't forget about Luke Musgrave.
I was looking at him. He might be my tight end.
The number one tight end ad this week.
He might. It sounds like a country singer.
Actually. It really does.
Yeah.
Probably because there's a already a bunch of country singers by that name. Not by that name. But Luke. There are Luke country singers out there, right?
McCombs.
That's the only one I know.
Is the okay? So that Green Bay defense also helped like a crazy amount, right?
So who's that? But who does that more fall on? Green Bay good, Chicago terrible.
I think Chicago's terrible.
I think they are. I think they're really bad.
Ugh.
You know which name I recently saw on waivers was Khalil Mack. What happened to that guy?
He plays for LA.
Yeah, I knew some West Coast team.
He plays for LA, and fantasy wise, he's just a sack guy. So he doesn't really do anything.
Like, has he impacted winning? Like he had such buzz in Chicago.
I think for his first year, he was insane. He was like Aaron Donald light.
Yeah.
And then
did he just fall off? Did age come for him?
I don't know. He might have gotten injured. He got paid, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Then, but yeah, that dude, he's out. He's in with Joey Bosa in LA. The Chargers.
With the Chargers.
Who couldn't stop shit.
But yeah, I think if Austin Eckler's hurt, that Joshua Kelly I like him a lot.
He was already putting in like 30% of the carries, right?
Yeah, and I think they had an even split, but that's because they were ahead, and
Because
he was dinged up.
I didn't realize, but part of the Eckler extension was stipulations, or at least like requested that he have more help, like he be in a timeshare.
Yeah, he did ask that. I didn't realize that he actually requested that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
because he's seen
So
guys like before him just kind of fall apart. Too
yeah,
many carries.
and he's small. I mean, he started out like up on fire. So we'll
Well, he's
see
been
if
for the last 2 seasons. He's had so many touchdowns, like 18 a year.
yeah, it's crazy.
Those are like Jamal Williams numbers.
Crazy.
The number one vulture in our league, or at least
How
last year was.
much did he get this week?
I think
I
he
don't
was
know.
involved last week. I didn't pay attention to the Saints game at all, to be honest.
Nothing was happening. It was just
Not much. That was Tennessee, right?
defense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So number one question for fantasy involving your team this week:
Hey,
did you propose a side bet
I did not in week one.
for week 2 upcoming?
I have not. I don't even know who I'm playing. Nothing.
You're playing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh, I think it definitely have to do something with that.
I think you do.
I'm gonna have to talk to him. We might have to call him tonight.
Okay.
Talk something through here.
In related news, I did offer a side bet already to Villas, my competition this week.
This week?
Yep.
I don't know if anyone did one in week one.
I don't know if they did.
Not ballsy enough.
People don't know where their teams are at.
Yeah. We're wise.
That's
that wisdom. What did you propose to vote?
I proposed loser has to eat a raw onion.
Okay, it's back. The onion bet is back.
I thought it was really... How do I describe this? I really enjoyed it when he had to do it the first time.
Was that your side bet again?
No, like Villas had done that with somebody else.
Okay. All right.
But
the onion back.
I enjoyed his pain too much that I wanted to see it happen again. And he wrote me back. He's like, "There's no way. There's no way." Because if you recall, and I do, he ate at least half of it.
Yeah, it was Spanish onion, I think. Do you think a purple onion would be harder to do?
What was it? A white or a yellow? It was one of those.
I think it was a Spanish one of those like.
Yeah. What is purple known to be less strong?
I think I would probably rank them. White would be the worst, and then yellow, white, and then red, and then Spanish.
So Spanish should be the weakest.
Yes.
So he ate a Spanish and died.
That's what I kind of remember. We'd have to go.
Well, then there's nowhere to go.
We'd have to look into the archives.
On a related note, any thoughts of renaming the divisions for onions?
No, I've renamed them after our corporate sponsors this year.
Which are?
Kobe, Trolley Gummy Bears, and 7-Eleven.
Oh, they're not all sausages?
Well, they are. The Kobe Beefs, the Trolley Gummy Bear Bonbon Dessas, and then the 7-Eleven Breakfast Taquitos Dessas.
Okay. We're keeping it. So, I forgot to mention at the start of the show that we're in our 10th year.
I know.
It's kind of a big deal. And I think each division every year has been a Dessa.
Absolutely. Almost every, I think.
Did you start that year one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless I made a terrible mistake, but I'm pretty sure that that's what it was. Here, I'm going to send you this. Do you remember these growing up?
Where are you sending this to me?
Messenger.
Okay, I'll take a look. No, never.
What? Really?
I don't think so. When you said the name, I had no idea what you were talking about. I thought it was some sort of like
They're gummy
Wait a
candy.
minute. Yeah, of course. Sorry. Yeah, of course I have.
Gummy
And
candy.
they're all like individually packaged
They're terrible.
in their own small plastic. Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't see the picture. I just saw I
Hmm.
saw the name. Of course, they're terrible.
Yeah.
Pure synthetic. Although
Middle,
now I want them.
middling, right in the middle division, middle quality.
Wait, who was the top one? Kobe?
The Kobe beefs.
The
Yeah.
last one again?
The last one's 7-Eleven breakfast taquito dessa.
Oh yeah. You don't know how long they've been rotating there for?
Just rolling on the thingy.
Yeah.
God.
Um,
I had someone. We went to Aldi's wedding from a gas station. They were great.
you had one from a gas station,
Mm-hmm. I think we had 2.
and it was great.
Yeah, they were fantastic.
Well, so then you probably need to rename the division. If they taste great, then they're not mirroring how bad the division is.
It's one of those quality versus optics things. It's more of like it looks disastrous, so they're in my place.
Have you ever been? Have you ever noticed this too, where it's like if you go to a different place, McDonald's tastes different, especially in America.
Yep.
Like I've had, I think it was coming out of Attica's ESET teams in Jersey, like 20 years ago. Stopped at a McDonald's and it just like it was like it was like the sweetest bun you've ever had. Like it was just sugar laden. You couldn't call it beef, and it just like it seemed so different. Like the Big Mac there versus I don't know, pick another spot.
I remember the White Castle down there was horrible.
I've never been to White Castle.
Oh, don't.
Okay.
Try to do like the minis, like mini sliders.
Yeah.
So bad. So bad. Sell them in 6-packs.
We're gonna keep this episode tight, I think.
Yeah, I gotta go soon.
No, not really. I think just like no. But in the past, we've done like an hour and a half, and it just kind of goes.
Yeah.
So it's good to like go out on top, I think.
I like it. You want to give us a prediction for this week, though?
Sure. Okay. If I'm predicting standing outcomes, you mean?
Or
Like we're talking about our league, or are you talking about like
what's going to be the biggest eye raiser in the league?
in our league?
Yeah.
I think you're gonna beat Kareem.
I mean, he's like dead last.
Yeah, but I'm used to you being dead last.
Look, times are changing, man.
Times have changed. You had less to do with planning the draft. You're in good shape. You drafted.
Anxiety's gone. That means we're going at the top. We're going up. We're going up.
Okay.
I'm going to say that Lauda gets over 150 points again this week.
Wow.
And
Okay.
slaps Eric.
Lock it in. Also, if Unsis loses and is 0-2 to start the season, I don't remember the last time that happening.
We got to go back. Go
Which
to the
is
archive.
like kudos to him for performing so well.
He had to grab that backup. He had to get that guy off waivers.
Who?
Otherwise, fucked. The Williams backup, the Cam Akers backup.
Oh, because did he lose somebody?
I think Cam Akers is kind of banged up.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
And David Montgomery, while he scored a touchdown last week, is in a messy backfield.
But he's got Tua going. Okay, now real life. Do you think that Miami's going to score more or less points than they did against the Pats than the Chargers?
Less.
Less? It's not going to be
They're playing the Pats. I think the Pats are a top 5 defense.
this early in the season?
Is it in New England?
I don't think so. No, it is. No, my bad. It is.
Yeah, if it was in Miami, I'd change my mind because that's been their house of horrors, even when Tom Brady was there.
Sunday night.
Yeah, they score less. They have to. Now, the question is, are the Chargers a sieve or is Miami that good? I think Miami's that good.
It might be a bit of both.
Yeah.
Might be a bit of both. He still doesn't have a defensive player. Oh, God. It's because he's got Jonathan Taylor. Oh, boy.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I think he felt comfortable taking Jonathan Taylor because he had it locked up. He had Justin Jefferson first.
Yeah,
Bunch
but
of
that got
nice
messy.
backups.
That wasn't as messy as it was like that night. It got messy. That stuff, the Taylor stuff. It was like
Oh,
I think
who
the
drafted
last.
Cooper Cup? Speaking of Messi,
I don't know. I think someone kept him.
I don't think so. I feel like we should know this as like people presenting information to an audience.
I'm over him.
Fair enough. I
Okay,
was
Joel.
staying away the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay, let's sign off. Mata, do you have any advice for all the Destas that are fielding teams this week?
Don't fucking start this guy.
Who's that?
My brain's not working. Absolutely do not start.
Tutu Atwell?
No, Kadarius Stone. Don't fucking do it.
Or Sky Moore?
Don't. None of them. Just none of them. Maybe Rasheed Rice as like a flyer, but fucking don't start any of these guys.
As a dart throw.
Worst. The worst. Oh, Jacksonville was impressive. That was.
Yeah. Calvin Ridley might be the keeper of the year.
Oh yeah. Eric called him in, and I like part of me was like,
yeah, when I saw him on the draft board, same thing. Because I think Trevor Lawrence is him. Like I think he's going to be in the MVP conversation for like years.
I was looking at Zay Jones, and I'm like, do I pick him up? And I would have never done that like 4 or 5 years ago. There's no fucking Zay Jones.
Also, he's taken. He's picked up.
Seats taken. Hey. Can't sit here.
But that's our league. Whenever you think like maybe you got like a nice name that nobody's heard of off the wire, taken. There's like a name when you search that player. There's like a team name beside him always. It's not FA.
Can we talk company man? I know. Because Jacoby Myers is back on my roster.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That's a good last segment. Company men. Who's back with the teams that they know best? I always think of you when I read Jacoby Myers' name.
Oh, God.
And you know what? I don't think he had caught a touchdown before Sunday. Or he had like one or two all time.
Oh, God. Anyway.
You can't quit him. Sadly, Donnie does not have anybody named Sneed on his roster.
Yeah, he does.
No. He's an FA.
Did he drop him?
I think so.
Oh. He started. He had Sneed to start. He drafted him. I think
he drafted him. I don't think he's there anymore. Yeah.
CD.
I would say Jacksonville running backs. Melvin has another one.
Love him. The love is deep.
You said Jesse Bates was a Marty stalwart, but he said he never had him before.
Yeah, I screwed it up because I thought it was Eric's pick. He's an Eric guy.
Oh, okay. Levante's an Eric guy.
Yeah, the way that conversation went down, it looked like Eric got Jesse Bates, but
I see.
Oh, he's Marty. Marty's man.
Okay. Well, maybe I have to pick up OJ Howard just so that I can fit in. He might be out there.
Although Gabe Davis is a big time Marty player.
Yes, 1,000%.
He rides and dies with Buffalo, actually, so that's probably why he sucked last week.
Can we associate Donnie with Tampa Bay running backs yet? No.
No.
Not a pattern.
Do it. It didn't flash. My brain didn't go.
Right. Okay. All right. Monter's good to do this.
George Kittle is a big time Cotto's pick.
Yes. Agreed. Monter's good to do this. Good to do it again. Good to have the. How do I get this in the camera?
Nope. This way. Nope. This way. Here. There it is. There. Wait. I got it. Put your hand out.
You want me to go back?
No. Oh no. The
other way. Your left.
No, your left.
Your other left.
Oh, it's because our screens are flipped. Okay.
Okay, we're back. This isn't a weekly thing, so don't get your hopes up, Destas.
Edit this, bitches.
That's right. All right. Good luck to everybody. We'll chat again soon.
Happy Thursday night.
Cheers.